Dr. Phil, Donald Trump. Here's the combination that we did not know that we needed. Lord, we definitely did. I enjoyed the over an hour interview that they had. And this is a moment where Dr. Phil is explaining, yo, Trump, you've been through everything and you still standing. How?
Of yours. You've taken every shot you can imagine. You've been criticized, attacked, called every name in the book. They've turned the judicial system against you, the intelligence community. 51 intelligence officers swear that this is a Russian plant, this laptop over here, right before the election. The media has turned against you, print, TV, radio, internet, in the streets. Not campaigning Donald Trump, just real Donald Trump. How do you deal with that stress in your most private moments?
So, two things. Number one, I don't like thinking about it. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't want to think about it. Number two, I have tremendous support. I have the people's support. I think if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to handle it so easily. When a judge who has conflicts like nobody's ever had wants to put me in jail, when he puts a gag order and say, if you talk about these things, we're going to put you in jail. And I'm the Republican candidate. I was president. I'm leading the Democrat by a lot. He wants to put me in jail. I like not to think about it.
Woo, that says a lot. You got to have a certain level of thick skin to be able to deal with the ambush political sham that is happening against Donald Trump from all of these different outlets. Legacy media, I'm sure if newspaper is still around somewhere. I'm sure it is. He's getting printed in there too. Obviously through these independent journalists as well. But you got, networks going against him. You got platforms going against him and deplatforming him to where he had to create his own. Like, there's so much that this man is going through, and he's still able to stand tall and fight for the American people, because it is the American people that has his back. Now, unlike Joe Biden, Trump actually feeds off the vibe of the American people. He quite literally said it here. Hey, if I was going through all this and I was getting support, he didn't say this, but how my mind heard it. If I was going through all this and the support for me was like Joe Biden's support, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'd probably be demented too. I'd probably be over here going crazy, but I don't think about it. You know why? Because I have the American people to fight for. Now, this man can literally be on a yacht chilling, you know what I mean, with Stormy Daniels, a couple of them if he wanted to. You know what I mean? He could be just doing whatever he wants, but he's choosing to remain in the fight for the American people. And I think that's something that we need to give him credit for and praise him for sure. At the very least, I think even if you're not a Trump supporter, you should question, you know what? He's super rich. He has the ability to just go duck off on the island if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Why is he? Okay. Give him a little prop. But in the interview, Dr. Phil also asked him, what is it like when the crowds aren't cheering?
What do you say to yourselves when the crowds aren't cheering? When you're home alone, you're riding in the car, you're by yourself. What is the hardest, darkest moment that you can think of in this journey you've been on the last several years?
You have to be very strong. You're fighting off very evil forces, and they're very smart forces. There are people that control Biden, totally true. I think I know who they are largely. But there are people that control him. They're very smart, very energetic. Possibly they're real believers, what their sick ideology is. But you have to be smart, and you have to have confidence. I mean, you have to have a certain confidence. The other thing is, I realize over the years, I've been through a lot, great and bad. I won the presidency. Everybody said, how are you going to do it? How good is that? It was the most incredible evening, one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the country. Look at the celebration. I mean, it was incredible. But you also go through bad. I also I understand fully that the bad also disappears. In other words, you'll go through bad moments and it disappears. It's sort of funny because I've watched your show a lot over the years. See, I'm not ashamed to say it because some people say, oh, you watch Dr. Phil. Well, your show is a very smart show. And I've watched you ask a question similar to that to some couple or and they break down, they start crying on the show. I said, that's never happening to me. If that happens to me, that's the end of my political career. I think actually, maybe people would like me better. But I'll tell you.
I was about to say, they're working two different ways. You probably have the libs that's over there. Oh, he's crying. Oh, he makes me feel sorry for him. They operate off feeling. So, despite all of the hatred I once garnered for him, he's crying. Oh, but yeah, you definitely had me over here like, yo, Trump. Hey, bro, tighten up, dog. You Trump.
What? You need strength. You have to have strength. And people don't want to see that. I've watched so many people. You break down people, they don't even know they're being broken down. But it's different.
I ain't gonna lie, though, watching that did make me have the thought in my mind like, yo, Trump, bro, I got your back, man. I got your back, dog. For real, I do. Because I know personally, well, let me say this. Through my personal journey of getting to know about him, I don't know him personally. But I know just from what I've observed, man, you're a God-fearing man whom definitely puts the interests of the American people in the forefront. And for whatever reason, they've just made you this martyr of a person who just is out for himself. And I hate that people have this sort of stereotype that if he grew up in a wealthy family, he don't care about anybody that's not wealthy, when he has nothing but example after example before running for president, that he was dead to really just be an aid to those in need around him, for sure. I mean, just to take this to a totally different place, just to give you the type of put you in a certain mindset to know what type of man that he was. This is a post from 2019 where Donald Trump called Jay. He was a terminally ill supporter in support of his fight for cystic fibrosis. I believe that's how you say that. Unfortunately, Jay passed away at the age of 44, 8 days after he received this phone call.
Holy Christ, what do I get to...
All right, Jay, you
Hey.
look handsome to me. I just saw a picture of you.
No, you're giving me kind honors. I look like...
How are you doing? How's it going, Jay?
It's going, you know what I mean?
But you're a champ. You're gonna
That's-
fight it, right? You just fight it?
It's what the Irish do, right?
Yeah, that's what the Irish do. You better believe it. You look good. I wish you could come to a rally. I wish you could come. I know you like that stuff, but I wish you could.
Well, listen, hey,
It sounds like you have a great sister, Jay.
well, like we have civil and rivalries, fights, whatever it is.
Right.
But hey, listen, if you could pencil me in, I'll find a way to get there.
I'll tell you what, when I'm up around that territory, and I know where you live, I know it well.
Yeah.
I'm up around that territory where you'll be sitting front row center, Jay.
All right, well, I plan on coming down to D.C. between now and my expiration date. So, whatever. Either way.
You don't even talk about expiration dates.
Oh, no, I'm not. No.
You'll be surprised, I know my people. You're gonna be surprised. I just sent you a little note too. I wrote out a little note. So, I guess we sent it to your sister or whatever, but you'll get that. But I read a beautiful story.
I know, totally unrelated, but I just wanted to give y'all a glimpse of the type of man that this man really is. He's a man who serves the people. Here's somebody whom unfortunately is no longer here with us. And I remember watching this video a few years ago, and it just keeps making me emotional every single time. Obviously, knowing his situation and knowing what he went through, and obviously knowing the conclusion, despite having this conversation and uplifting words that Donald Trump left him with. Obviously this wasn't supposed to be the point of the video, but I just want to give y'all real good insight to what type of person Donald Trump really is, contrary to what the media tries to get y'all to believe. He's somebody who's here for the American people. He's somebody who's here to fight against the evil forces. He's somebody who is the voice of the voiceless. You know what I'm saying? He's the echo chamber from the people who've been screaming out these problems forever. You know what I'm saying? He's been a solution in terms of waking me up and having me realize my values and principles need to be intact, you know what I mean, and how mismatched I was in terms of my ideologies with things, because I was working on how I felt all the time, how legacy media told me to feel all the time, versus actually giving him a chance. And I'm so thankful that I did. And just like history has proven, just because he's Donald Trump, Dr. Phil is going to get criticized and blasted. As it says right here, social media blast Dr. Phil over Trump's softball interview that repeated MAGA lies. Quote, "I am totally done with you." Somebody wrote right here. What was this? I'm sorry. What media outlet is this? Oh, independent co.uk. So this is in the UK right here. But yeah, you know, so many people are pissed off just simply because the man went and sat down and talked. And it always bothers me when people go, "Oh, why they always give him the softball question, softball?" I'm like, yo, have you seen the interview with Biden in comparison, bro? Whoa. I'm kind of skip down here to this section right here to kind of get to the point of it all, y'all. It says, we heard Dr. Phil say this, quote, "I know you got thick skin. You're not one of those people afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. You're a billionaire. You got a great family. You're a very dedicated father. Why do you subject yourself to this?" Dr. Phil was quickly slammed online for his conspiracy theory heavy interview. As this person wrote, quote, "I used to love you. My DVR was set to record your show, so you being impartial was an act. You fell into the politics rabbit hole where you can't be impartial and hold a politician accountable. Donald Trump treated unfairly while he cheered to lock up Hillary. Hillary disgusted," wrote one user on X. I was over there reading this like, bro, which side are you on? But anyhow, and then one user wrote on X, quote, "Tuned in to see Dr. Phil interview with Trump, but this is far from an interview. I'm watching Phil declare himself as full on MAGA, ignoring facts, letting him say what he never met." Letting him say he never met E. Jean Carroll. Phil is on his knees in front of a convicted criminal, wrote another user. Oh my gosh, y'all, we got a few more. Another, y'all able to see it for yourself up over here as well. Another user branded the interview as, quote, "a bunch of nonsense. So with anyone else, you would have called out these lies of Trump. What is so evil is that you feeding his lies to the American people. Dr. Doc Phil, I am totally done with you because you are definitely a supporter," they wrote. Honestly, if you only support me on the condition of who I vote for on a political scale, I don't want you a part of my life or want you a part of my business at all. Honestly, I have, thank God, although I've lost friends to being a Trump supporter, I've also maintained great friendships with people who literally hate Trump. I just got off with I got off the phone with one of my homegirls in California. Hates Trump. I mean, with a passion, you know. And of course, we have our dialogue here and there, but our friendship isn't based on trying to convince her to believe what I believe, you know. And we have our moments where we hit each other with some. I try to hit her with some facts of the situation when she presents certain information, and maybe I can be corrected as well on certain things as well. But we're still cool, no issue. We literally not argue, but we'll have a small debate about it, move on, talk about Subway or something, you know. It says one user said that Dr. Phil was going for that rich tax cut. People just key. So what if he was just doing it because he believed in pro-life? You know, people just put you in a box. What if he just believed that kids shouldn't have these sexually explicit books in schools? Like, could it be anything other than that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Another user said Dr. Phil is MAGA scum. Just saw his interview with Trump, and he was saying how the judicial system turned against you, end quote, and how the earth does the poor man deal. And how on earth does the poor man deal with all of this stress? How do you even say that? Malignant narcissist. It says, quote, "Dr. Phil should join Dr. Oz, whatever the hell he ended up." Two frauds supporting a big fraud, wrote another person on X. Oh my gosh, we got to see the comments before I get up out of here. What lies? Right. What lies? I watched the interview too. Voila! Somebody else said, nobody cares what you think, communists. I can't wait for the debates. Will they let Joe bring this? Dr. Phil is throwing Trump fastballs and he's knocking them out of the park. The liberals are angry, so you know it's going well. And that's exactly what I thought as well. I think what they're most upset about is watching the support for Donald Trump continue to rise despite all of the hatred that they have for him. And all of it is off pure feeling. You know, people hate this man for no reason. Y'all already know my Uber story. If y'all don't know my Uber story, it's right here. A woman literally changed my life. Hated Donald Trump. She checked me and look at me now. I gotta find that woman, man. I gotta give her some love, show her some support.